Hey, this is your boy DC4 Street Mafia. Yeah, follow me on Instagram. Of course, shout out Frenchie Fan, best in the business. But I traveled all the way from Florida for this. You know, he definitely informed me that he had an RSX here, and I'm a huge Honda guy, so I definitely had to come check this out myself. And the thing is very beautiful, I tell you that right now.
What is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another video, the RSX build. So the last other two videos you guys seen, all-wheel drive conversion completed, and the second part, you can take it. And then the second video was the fuel cell installation. So now it's finally time for the relay harness. Well, we're gonna make our own, so we're gonna show you guys that obviously, but now it's time to actually wire up the fuel pump and get all that wired up. So we have all of our stuff here. This is exactly what we're gonna use to build our own kit. So we went with some, I believe this was 10 gauge. No, 8 gauge. So we're gonna go with some 8 gauge wires. We have our black for our negative and our red for our positive. So I believe we have 20 feet here. Another thing is the factory relays and stuff that they use for when you do aftermarket pumps. If you guys are used to it, you guys know that they use the square relays on here. So they're 40 amp and they're 12 volt system. I fucking hate these, me personally, and I'll explain to you why. So the issue with me personally, I've never had an issue with it because I don't run these. I do have one of these in my car, but I have it set up for something else. The bad thing about these is that they have, sorry, every relay has a cycle time. So the cycle time is how many times you turn this on and turn it off, because that relay is clicking. So every relay is usually like 100,000 cycles, 50,000 cycles. The cheaper ones from China, Amazon, stuff like that, they're usually a bit less. So these are rated for 40 amps. The bad thing about these, the cycle times and the wires that they have in there are a little too small for what they are. What is this, 12 gauge for 40 amp? That's kind of, you know, the low side. So the issue with these, and with the Honda guys, when you guys run dual pumps or bigger pumps or stuff like that, you guys start melting wires, or your wires start to get hot and stuff like that. And it's because your wires and everything else is not really rated for it. Now they might tell you it is, but it's not. If you look inside the relays, I'm not sure if you can see them, but they're melted. That one you can see over there, it's melted. Now these are just relays that I had, you know, throughout the years. I just can't. So like I said, after my brother's interrupting with this loud ass noise over there, you can get him on camera. Alright, so like I was saying was, we just keep these in stock. These are actually from his M4. These are for his air ride system. That's another good example. The air ride system is only like on 30 amps. This is a 40 amp relay, look what it's doing to it. 2 relays. So for this fuel cell, I want to do a little bit more of a bulletproof option. Instead of using the factory square manual contact relays, we're going to be upgrading our system, and we're going to go with a solid state relay. So it's an SSR, sorry. It's an SSR relay. So it's kind of top secret. I don't really want to show you guys it too much, but fuck it, it's a video, and this is to inform you guys and help you guys with your situation. A solid state relay doesn't have any manual contacts like a regular relay does. It's all done through electronics and MOSFETs and everything that's inside. So these handle a lot more power. The only thing is that they actually have more heat too. So in the back of it is a full metal plate, and what that is basically your heat sink. So you want to put this onto something metal. That way it helps absorb the heat and make these last longer. Another thing I like about these is that they always have an indicator light. While these you can wire up an indicator light, or you can get them with a red LED on them, but these always come with it. So the way you wire these is, this is a DC solid state relay, and it needs to be a DC output also. So it needs to be DC to DC. If you put AC on here, if you get an AC solid state relay, which I've done before, your power is just gonna go straight through your pump, so it won't turn off and turn on. So the reason I'm going with a solid state relay is because I'm an industrial electromechanic. So this is what we use in the industrial field for like 3-phase motors and stuff like that, or PLCs and stuff. So I know for sure this will handle a little baby pump no problem. Now these, that's what they're used for. We're not gonna be using these shits. Those are garbage. Solid state relay, 8 gauge wire. Now to connect all that stuff, we have over here, we have 1/4 inch ring terminals, and these are for 8-gauge wire, so these are perfect. To drill through the firewall, I got this rubber piece, this rubber kit off Amazon. So what this is, just when you drill your hole through your firewall, you pop these rubber grommets in, and you'll be able to put your wire through it. Just drill a hole, put your wire through it, and it'll keep it sealed so no water gets inside your cabin. So, start wiring it up.
Chew. Oh,
Stupid music over it, stupid.
fuck.
Now you sound stupid. In front of a bunch of niggas. Guess we're at the bottom of the car now. What we're looking for is where we're gonna run the wires to our pumps. So if you guys can see there, I have 2 little Sharpie marks. I'm gonna drill it so I can put my rubber grommet, one there and one there. That way the wires can come down and connect straight to the pump. Nice, clean, and short. Hey guys, so I kind of got carried away. What we were working on is drilling out these holes and putting these grommets, right? So we got that done. We got the rubber grommets in there, as you guys can see. And all I do is just poke a hole with a screwdriver in the middle, stick the wires through. So I know it looks like I've done a lot already, but I actually haven't. So this red and this black wire, this was going to the rubber grommets, and these go straight to the fuel pump, right? So then they come back inside the car. My positive wire from the fuel pump is gonna go to this port, right? Then the negative from the fuel pump is gonna come to this side of the relay. And if you notice, there's 2 wires coming out that side of the relay, and the other one I'm running now, what that one is just gonna be my chassis ground. So we use the factory brace that's here, the side brace. I drilled a hole through and I put a bolt. I'm gonna put a nut there. So now I have my spool of wire. All I'm gonna do is just measure it up, zip tie everything up real nicely, measure it up over here, and I'm gonna put a ring terminal over there as well. Put one of these bad boys. And then that's gonna be my ground setup. So far all I did was just wire up the fuel pump wires right here to the relay, my ground, and my chassis ground. So let me go ahead and connect that on, and then we'll go into the next wire. All right, you guys. So like I said, that is going to be the chassis ground. We have an 8-gauge wire on a 1/4 inch ring terminal with a 1/4 inch bolt. So now I'm just gonna put a nut on there and tighten it. I'm gonna put a little bit of Loctite on the nut. That way the vibration isn't going loose. But that's what we're looking like so far. So again, we have the fuel pump wires here, the positive and negative. The positive goes to the right side of the top relay. This one, we're gonna wire that now. That one's gonna go straight to the positive side of the battery. And you wanna put a fuse in line. We don't have a fuse with us at the moment, so we're just gonna wire it straight to the battery. And then this side over here, this positive side, what these 2 connections over here are is your positive and negative. This actually activates the relay. This is gonna be your output. So you can put your positive pills from your battery, positive of the fuel pump. And if you guys notice, you guys have open contacts on here. So naturally, if this is not powered on, it's open. So you won't be putting power straight to the fuel pump. Now when you activate this, the red light's gonna turn on, these contacts are gonna close, and that's what's gonna allow your voltage to go to your fuel pump, which in this case is gonna be turning on the fuel pump. So let's go ahead and get that tightened up, and we'll start running the new wire. Alright you guys, so we have the relay and everything, ground is hooked up. Now we're gonna start on our positive wire. That's gonna go across over, and then we have it going underneath there. We're gonna tuck it on the side real nicely, so when we put the side trim and all that stuff, the rug and all that stuff back in, it's all nice and tucked. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna run it on the side, through over there, go through the firewall, and connect to the battery. Guys, so we're trying to run the wire through over here, but I just recently found out that this customer, he has a fuse box relocation. So they tucked it here at the bottom of the car, which is actually perfect. The reason it's perfect actually is because if you guys see this big 0 gauge wire right there, they did the relocation kit and they did a battery relocation kit as well, which on this car the battery sits here on the bumper. So he has the DC5 Creations. We do have it hooked up on the charger, but he has the battery relocated and he also has the fuse box relocated, and that's so he can have the nice clean engine bay. So excuse my dog barking in the background, hopefully you guys can hear me. But another good thing is that he has, it's called the Big 3 upgrade. So what it is, you upgrade the power cable coming from your alternator to your battery, you upgrade your grounds, all that, and then you upgrade the wire that's going to your fuse box, which is here. So what that is, you can either upgrade it with like a 4 gauge wire or a 0 gauge. This guy, he has a 0 gauge wire on here. So basically connecting it to here would be like if I connected it straight to the battery. So that's where we ran our power cable for our relay, tucked it behind the box, and there's plenty of room on that bolt. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna tighten it back down, and now we have our power. All right guys, so it's all clamped back down. You can't even see the wire. You can kind of see it, that red one over there, but it's tucked up really good. You can't see it, but it's connected, trust me. So now we can close this bad boy back up, and now we have our power cable. So when he installs his side trims and all that, this will get all tucked up real nicely, basically if you're running a sound system. So tuck all that up real nicely, put the trims and everything back on. Wire comes across, all the way across, straight to the relay. So now the only thing that we're missing in order to get this set up to work properly, so we're gonna remove the factory connectors. We're gonna power on the car, and I'm gonna find out which pin I need to remove that would power up the factory fuel pump. And we're gonna tie that bad boy into this terminal right here. So let's get this car turned on and let's test it. All right guys, so these are the factory connectors that go inside through this cap to your tank. One is for your fuel level sensing unit, which I believe is this one, and then this is the one that powers up the pump and everything. So what I did was I tested each connector. I got my voltmeter and I put one to ground, and the other one I tested every single pin until I got 12 volts. You'll read 12 volts when the car is on, and then when you turn the car off, you won't read 12 volts. So that's how you know this is the one you need. So it's basically like a remote, and it's blurry as hell for some reason. But this is the one that we're gonna connect there. All right, you guys, so everything is wired up now. At the beginning of the video, I made a mistake, and I apologize. I was not paying attention. I was kind of just flying by because I got too comfortable with myself. So that shows, you know, even me, take your time, pay attention to what you're doing. These two wires I actually had reversed. So the issue that I had was no matter if I turned on the relay or if I did not, or if I did, whether it was on or off, the fuel pump will stay on. So basically electricity was flowing by through here. And the reason that is because, like I said at the beginning, these run off of MOSFETs. So they're a lot different than the mechanical relay. I'll talk to you guys in person. Like I was saying, is you don't really notice the speed of a solid state relay to the naked eye, so it won't really benefit us. That's meant for like super fast movement when they use a solid state relay. But anyways, on a solid state relay, MOSFETs work a tricky way. Like you really have to understand how the electricity works through a MOSFET. So there's what's called a diode. So a diode is basically a check valve. It's a one-way valve. So it allows electricity to flow one way, but it does not allow electricity to flow back. So the issue is, since I had my main power wire wired incorrectly on there, I was going the reverse way of the diode inside of the MOSFET. So my electricity was just constantly flowing instead of the diode blocking that flow and only allowing the flow when I apply electricity to it on the coil. So now that we got that fixed, I'm going to show you guys the relay turning on and turning on the fuel pump. Right now the relay is off. As you can tell, the red indicator light is not on and you don't hear the fuel pump. I'm going to turn my key, I'm going to switch it on, everything turns on. Let me show you guys with the pump. So as you guys can tell, the relay is powered on and you guys can hopefully hear the fuel pump underneath. That's the fuel pump running. Relay off, fuel pump's off. On, off, on, off. So we have successfully wired up our solid state relay fuel pump system. So hopefully this helps you guys out. It is a lot cheaper actually than running the square fucking relays. It's a lot cheaper to run these. They're a lot more reliable, a lot more efficient, and they handle electricity a lot better. So the square relays is kind of hard to find high amperage for them. The biggest that you can find anywhere, like a quick access to get a replacement one, is a 40 amp. While these solid state relays, you can get them cheap, 20, 30, 40, up to 100 amp. So we went with a 60 amp. Just, it's way overrated than what the pump is calling for. The pump is only calling for like a 30 to 40 amp, but I like to overrate my stuff. Now what's going to protect your pump is the fuse that you put. Now remember, we did not have a fuse in here, we just wired everything up, but the fuse is on order. All you have to do is break that connection that you went to your battery terminal, or in our case our fuse box. Break that connection and install your fuse right in the middle. So the fuse is what's going to protect your fuel pump and your wiring and everything. That's what a fuse is for, or a breaker. Just make sure you get the properly sized fuse for it. In our case, the pump calls for a 30 amp. So we have a 30 amp fuse coming in, 60 amp relay, but the relay is not what's going to trip. It's going to be the fuse. So always keep that in mind. But hopefully this was informative for you guys and it helped you guys and made you a lot more comfortable in wiring up a relay for your pump. It's not hard. It's super easy. It's just, you know, especially for me or for any electrician that understands electricity and how it works. But for the everyday DIYer, it's pretty easy, guys. And especially with videos like this, and hopefully mine helped you guys out. But I hope it definitely helped you guys out. It's super easy. It's just 2 wires all day, is like everybody likes to say. It's just 2 wires all day, positive and negative, and in our case, a signal. Getting phone calls. But that's gonna be it for this video. Appreciate you guys. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe button, and share this with your friends is building a harness for their fuel pumps. Appreciate you guys, and we'll see you on the next one.